Good morning and welcome to the Gillinor News Network, GNN. Adventurers woke up this morning to find that there have been some changes over at Castle Wars. Adventurers started seeing gnome gliders flying through the air with signs pointing them towards Castle Wars. Lothus admitted later to purchasing these advertisements. In any case, when players got to Castle Wars, they saw that they were no longer able, when on the Castle Wars worlds, which makes sense, everyone was going to these worlds in order to be able to play and find a game, and they noticed they were no longer able to go into the Saradomin and Zamorakian portals. Interesting, when we interviewed Lothus, he said that he was trying to maintain balance by encouraging folks to enter the Gathixian portal. Okay. Now, of course, this did upset the Saradomin and Zamorakian cult members. Oh, sorry, word from my producer here. Not cult members. Very clear here. They are not cult members. We are not a litigious organization here. They are not cult members. These were Zamorakian and Saradominist lobbyists. They are planning a protest against Lothus's decision. In order to placate these religions, Lothus is allowing Saradomin and Zamorak as a choice of team on non-clan wars worlds. Segregation has never really ended well historically, but GNN is ready to report on the outcome. Finally, as players made it in, they noticed that they were allowed to keep their helmets, which was found out pretty interesting because every time someone would go into Castle Wars, they would always have to go back to the bank and take their helmet off, but they didn't have to make that trip. They were able to keep their helmets on. Now, this did seem nice as they were able to do more damage, but the PvPers did find that it was a lot more difficult as they were wearing their helmets to lick the cave walls as they waited for the game to start. Also, interestingly enough, this came across our desk just now. Castle Wars bracelets. Yeah, check the wiki. These exist. In any case, players are now able to store the charges for these bracelets with Lothus. Okay? Now, as players made it into the game, they reported that the brews available within Castle Wars inside of each castle, in addition to their usual stat boosting effects, they now gave the effect of a stamina potion and a super restore potion. Those on looking from outside the game's walls were finding that players had at least a couple less excuses for their deaths on the battlefield. Speaking of less of an excuse for a death on the battlefield, we've also seen that the bandages within the battlefield also scale with the hit points level of the adventurer using them, and they even overheal. How nice, Lothus. Thank you. And in addition to the changes within the game that Lothus has been doing here, poor adventurers have found it that they'll be able to cast spells without owning runes as they've been given a Castle Wars rune pouch when they enter the battlefield. When interviewing Lothus for this, he reported that he had partnered with Aubrey at the Varrock Rune Shop in order to offer adventurers free runes while on the battlefield. He had something to say about the first one being free and Aubrey wanting to do it for that reason. We didn't want to go any further. We have limited resources here at our network. In any case, it's worth mentioning that the spells that adventurers cast with these runes, they will not reward experience, but Lothus was very, very keen on ensuring me that they will still reward memories. Moving on to our final point here, the reward scheme that the Game Master, Mr. Lothus, offers is now seeing some restructuring, awarding more tickets and, when playing on Clan Wars worlds, a new plotted currency that can be exchanged for supplies. Lothus is literally paying people to play his game. What is his business model? Sorry. Back to our program here. You may notice from the footage of our ground team that Castle Wars is the most popular it has been in years. Economists from the University of Ardoon point to this particular change being why. Lothus is offering more tickets to winners as well, especially winners on dedicated Castle Wars worlds. Well, are you horrible on the battlefield? No worries. Lothus is also now offering participation reward tickets. Oh man. Participation rewards takes me back to my human Little League gnome ball days. Anyways, folks, thank you for tuning in to the Gillinor News Network, GNN. Thank you, and have a great day.